Alright, we are back with a new deck for Standard. A deck that I am super excited about to show you because it may look familiar to the first deck that I ever posted. We have Mardu 8 Bob Aggro. So the purpose of the deck is to just have an aggressive strategy with lots of good removal and also a way to get lots of card advantage, so you also have not only a short game plan but also a long game plan. So why is it called 8 Bob? Because we have Dark Confidant back in Standard, whose name is Bob. No one really knows why. It's just a cool thing that people do in Magic. We also have Dark Star Augur, is basically Bob, but with flying. He doesn't have a name yet, but maybe in the near future he will. I suppose you can call the deck 12 Bob if you are a pedantic nerd, because Dark Star Augur has offspring. But enough about the Bobs. That is basically how you get your cards. We also have ways to deal damage, so we have Iridescent Vine Lasher, 1/2 for 1, also Offspring, gets you some bonus, so now all your lands become ways to deal damage. Burst Lightning, fantastic removal spell, also the kicker makes it relevant on late game for more damage. We also have Phoenix Chick as a way to get in some hasty flying damage, and also Recursion from the graveyard. You can also sacrifice it to Reno and Rude, which is basically Ragavan. If you don't know what that is, it's a this card is a 2/1 menace, and then when it connects with your opponent, you can exile that top card of their library, and if you sacrifice a creature or artifact, you can play that card and use any type of mana to cast it. So another way to get card advantage from your opponent's deck. We also have Heart Flame Duelist, a 3 damage for 3 mana instant on the adventure half, and then a 3/1 giving all your instant and sorcery spells lifelink, so we have a good amount of life gain in this deck, since we will be willfully losing lots of life to our Bobs. We also have Lightning Helix back in Standard. How cool is that? Another great removal spell. And then also we have Get Lost as our straight up removal spell for creatures, enchantments, and planeswalkers. Not too shabby. We also are running a Buster Sword as a threat diversity card, so we have another card advantage card, and also it makes your smaller creatures bigger. We're also running Enduring Innocence for additional card draw and life link. And then at the top end of the curve we have Sulfim Mayhem Dominus, 5/4, but the kicker, not exactly kicker, but the kicker, you know what I mean. If a source you control would deal non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent that they control, it deals double that damage instead. So all of your burn spells become really good if you want to aim them at someone's face, put the lights out pretty quick. We also have our land base, pretty even split. We have one of each basic because people like to destroy your lands, so you want to have something to get. We also have extra land damage with Restless Bivouac, and also Restless Vents with Menace and the ability to loot or discard and draw, which I think is the opposite of loot, but you know what I'm talking about. So your lands also do damage. We have this starting town from the new set of Final Fantasy, so you have access to all 3 colors with that land. And then we have our fast lands and a few pain lands to boot. So, what do we have in the sideboard? Currently, we have Fire Magic for decks that have a lot of tokens or weenies, a way to stop an aggressive start of creatures. We have Exorcise. I could use some more Exorcise myself. We can exile target artifact, enchantment, or creature with a power 4 or greater at the speed of sorcery, but 2 mana to do all that is pretty efficient. We have an extra Get Lost for decks that have creatures that are too big to burn out. We have High Noon for the aggressive red decks. We have Phyrexian Missionary for lifelink and additional removal of your opponent's creatures for those mid-range matchups. Or, yeah, that's what I think. We have Rest in Peace for those graveyard matchups. Fantastic card against those decks because no graveyards. We have Boros Charm for additional damage and a boarding against control for their board wipes. And then we have also against control Urabrask's Forge. Just stuff this into play and ride it to victory because it gets out of hand pretty quick and gets better with every turn. So this is the Mardu 8-Bob Aggro. I am again super pumped that I can play this deck in Standard with Dark Confidant, and if you can't tell, it's great. Alright, well, thank you for watching, and we will check you later.